Hello, everybody. How's it going? Bradley here from Helium 10 and wanted to talk about a subject that has been on the mind of people the last couple of weeks. Wrote a blog on it, but a lot of people, don't like reading. So I wanted to do like a visual kind of representation of that blog I wrote about the kind of state of Amazon reviews in 2021. And the reason why, I think reviews are always on any Amazon seller's mind, regardless of the time, but especially now, it got kind of like top of mind again because the one way that everybody always suggests of getting reviews, right, the early reviewer program, that went away. All right, and now sellers aren't able to use that. So what was happening was a lot of sellers are wondering, well, what are the best ways to get Amazon reviews, nowadays? And what now that early reviewer program is gone, I thought it would be appropriate to kind of review what all are the options nowadays. And some obviously Helium 10 has a capabilities in, and some have nothing to do with Helium 10. Some of the ways I'm going to talk about today. So reviews, as we all know, is kind of like the name of the game, right? For social proof, that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to get into a competitive niche where like collagen peptides, for example, where people have thousands and thousands of reviews. It's so hard for new players to get into those because there's not enough social proof, and so it's been top priority for Amazon sellers out there in order, to kind of scale their business is how do I increase my review count? And this is one of the things that Amazon is very sensitive about, right? Like you guys have heard of a lot of black hat things that people do to increase their business, and people seem to be getting away with it. But one thing that is harder to get away with by these black hatters is review manipulation, because whenever Amazon takes a hit in news for something, they really crack down on it. And they've over the last few years, they've really taken a hit about what happens on Amazon with review manipulation. Now, have they completely wiped it out? No, but they're doing, in my opinion, a better job with getting bad players out than maybe other aspects of Amazon black hattery, right? So what I wanted to talk about today was what is the state of reviews on Amazon. And I don't do slide presentations, but I need to show you guys some graphs and things that I had in my blog to give you so that you can visually see, like, when you send a review request, how does that look like to the customer? When you send an email, how does that look like? Does Amazon on their own ask for reviews? And how does that look like? Do you guys know the answers to these questions? If you do, great. Still stick around, don't leave. But I think a lot of you, including myself, before 3 weeks ago or before 2 weeks ago, whenever I wrote this blog, I didn't even know how it looked until I did like this deep investigation. Like, all right, under what circumstances does Amazon do this? All right, so let's go ahead and hop into this. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. But just, for those who, let me put this up here. For those who didn't know, what exactly was the early reviewer program? Well, that was a program where sellers, you pay like $60, I think it was. I think the price changed over the years. And then Amazon would try and get you at least 5 reviews. And how would they do that? They would offer an incentive. It's funny. This is actually incentivized reviews that Amazon doesn't allow, but that was fine. That's why this is great. And that was why it worked, because whenever you incentivize reviews, that's usually when reviews come in, right? So Amazon would incentivize the buyer with like a $2 or $3 Amazon gift card if they would go ahead and write a review. And if they did, then that would count as an early reviewer program. All right. So how did that look like? Here's one that we got. We use this method. We've used this for every Project 5K and every Project X account. So like here is one that we got for, I don't remember if this is for the coffin shelf or the egg tray, but you can see right here, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse here, but early reviewer rewards. This is what was happening. This is how people would get their original reviews, right? And then there would be like a little disclaimer there to let people know that this came from the early reviewer program. Now, this went away. So like if you were to go to the early reviewer page now, what would you see? All right. You would see this on the dashboard right here where it says, hey, the early reviewer program has been removed. We're not going to allow any enrollments as of March 10, which was, what was that? Last week? Yeah, about a week ago. All right. Now, one thing that people ask is, wait, if this was such a successful program, why would Amazon take it away? Well, here's the Amazon actual, I don't know how you'd call it, like their explanation or their rationale with why they removed it. So they said, quote, I'm going to quote this. I'm going to go ahead and read this. They said, Amazon continuously innovates to improve the shopping and selling experience. Over the past several years, we have made numerous improvements to encourage purchasers to review products on Amazon. These initiatives, such as the one-tap reviews and global review sharing, have proven more effective in generating reviews than the early reviewer program. Accordingly, as of March 10th, we will no longer be allowing new enrollments in the early reviewer program and will stop offering the service to sellers currently enrolled in the program on April 25th, 2021. So there's a couple things here. The first thing was this one-tap reviews. All right, do you guys know what that is? One-tap reviews. So basically that's something that Amazon started a while back, like even back in 2019, and really ramped it up in the middle of 2020, where people could leave like a star rating, just a star without actually having to write a full review. And then it counts towards those number of ratings that you would see on the Amazon listing. So, Amazon solicits these in a lot of different ways, such as notifications in the Amazon app, from Alexa. And it's also an option to only leave a starred rating within the traditional Amazon review platform. All right. What about the other thing that was mentioned in that article, or that little disclaimer from Amazon, global review sharing? So what's that? Global review sharing is another initiative where you can see the total number of reviews or ratings across multiple international marketplaces if it's the same ASIN, instead of just looking at the review count from that particular marketplace like Amazon USA. So I guess the question is, like, is Amazon lying that these initiatives have been working to increase reviews? And the answer is no. That's actually a very accurate statement. Review velocity is up as much as Bitcoin. It's ridiculous, right? These initiatives, like I said, were kind of soft launched in 2019, and they came into full force around the summer of last year. Now, take a look here at the review velocity that the Helium 10 Chrome extension shows of the two Project X products. Let's just take a look at the first one here. Here's Gee's chicken coop. All right, here's Gee's chicken coop. You guys see what happened right here? The starting in the summer of last year, review velocity just like really went high. Let's take a look at the coffin shelf. Look at the coffin shelf. Around the summer of last year, review velocity, again, just like is to the moon. Okay, so if you're looking at the actual numbers here, for the coffin shelf product from January to June, all right, January to June of last year, we sold about 1,000 coffin shelves, all right, 1,000 coffin shelves. During that time, as you can see here, we gained about 122 reviews, all right? Now, at the time, that's a pretty dang respectable review to sales ratio of 12%. All right. I mean, back in the day, it was only like 1 or 2%. So you could already see the beginning of these new systems working, right? Of this one-click initiative. And then also, of course, we were using Helium 10 follow-up. I'll talk about that later in order to get these reviews. However, on that same product, now from July to December, all right, we did sell more. We sold about 3,000 units of coffin shelves, which in itself is just ridiculous. How are we selling so many coffin shelves? But whatever. Now that's 3 times the sales that we did the first 6 months. So you might be thinking, well, duh, that's just 3 times as many reviews, right? So if the review velocity stayed the same, we should have expected from here to here about 400 reviews or 67 per month. But the number of reviews we got during that time was actually well over 500 reviews. So in this example, the reviews to sales ratio jumped up from 12% to 16%. All right. Now the egg tray that I showed you guys a little bit later, that had a similar trajectory there in review velocity. But it's actually even more. It's even more crazy. In the first 6 months of last year, let me go back to that slide here. Let's see if I can show that. All right. So here's the egg tray, right? In the first 6 months of last year, we sold 700 egg trays, Project X egg trays, and we gained 28 reviews. for a review velocity of 4%. Now that's more like what the norm was. That's still better. You know, like back in the day, it used to be 1-2%. So that was 4%. All right, that we had. Now, the last 6 months of the year, we sold 900 units, but reviews exploded to 109. So the review velocity, all right, so not the review velocity, but rather the review to sales metric that I'm looking at, it went from 4% to 12%. That means 12% of the orders that we sold resulted in a rating or review. Now, this isn't just Project X, stuff. You just take random products on Amazon and you can see very similar velocities. All right, like here's a garlic press, the stereotypical or cliche garlic press, right? Look at what happened in summer of last year. Look at it, just like this. It looks like a Bitcoin price chart right here of what happened with the reviews in the summer. Now, if we weren't selling the coffin shelf and egg tray in early or mid 2019 before these one-click reviews had been implemented. But if we did, the review ratio to sales would have been what everybody else had, which is probably like 1 to 3%. So the question, a question that comes up is, are people even writing full Amazon reviews nowadays? Like how many one-click ratings are there compared to written out reviews? You guys might be shocked at some of these results that I'm going to talk about. So the coffin shelf product, all right, we just passed the 1,000 review mark, right? So when we hit 1,000, out of those 1,000, there were only 150 written reviews. That means 850 of those ratings were all of the one-click or one-tap variety. That's crazy. Did you guys know that it was that different? I mean, that just blew my mind when I saw that. So that means if we never had this one-click reviews, the coffin shelf review count would probably be around 150, all right? For the egg tray product, out of 193 ratings, there were only 27 written reviews. Only 27 in the last year. So no wonder we're seeing numbers, this review ratio or sales to reviews or reviews to sales skyrocketing, right? They're 10 to 15% compared to 1 to 2% of previous years. So it seems like in a lot of products, there's actually more than 6 times as many one-click reviews as opposed to full written reviews. Now, I personally still feel, and I'm sure you guys would agree with me, that written reviews are important to a product, right? Customers who are looking for some social proof, maybe they'll just look at the number of reviews, right? But a lot of people might click into those reviews to read what people are writing to kind of like make sure it's legit, right? A lot of people, I mean, I personally do that. I was looking for some speakers and I didn't, I looked at which speakers had more reviews, but then I actually clicked into those reviews because I wanted to read what people are writing about. And in this sense, this is why I think a lot of people are going to miss that early reviewer program, because you could get those written reviews. For example, in the egg tray, like I said, in 1 year, we got a total of only 27 written reviews. Guess what? 5 of those were from the early reviewer program, and those were procured in just 1 month. All right. Here's an example of one of those early reviewer program reviews that we got for the egg tray. I use this wooden egg holder for displaying chocolate. All right. So this was an early reviewer for this product. Now we might not have gotten this review without the early reviewer program. This is actually a cool review. They put a picture and everything, and it gave people ideas about what else to use the egg holder. I love this review, right? 8 people found this helpful. Look at that. So if we didn't have the early reviewer program of the egg tray, guess what, guys? We would have had in the first 4 months of this product's life, only 4 reviews. Can you imagine that? 4 reviews is all the written reviews that we got in 4 months of sales of the egg tray. So in this sense, this one-click reviews is definitely helping, but now it's like, man, what is going to happen? Like if people are looking for these written reviews, they're not going to see it, man, if you don't have the early reviewer program, because it takes a long time. Of course, if you're selling, 30 units a day, I'm sure you'll be able to get a lot of reviews. But this egg tray, we're only selling like 3, 4, 5 units a day. So this, in this sense, I think the early reviewer program is going to be missed. But just as a funny thing, look at this. I don't know if anybody who's watching this is this person, but Ian Thatcher, he actually wrote a review. He's probably trying to get our listing suspended or something. Come on, man. He says, shout out to Helium 10 Project X viewers. All right. I love this case study. All right. So I wasn't counting this review as one of the written reviews. If you count him, that's 5 reviews that we got in the first 4 months outside. So now the question is, now that the early reviewer program is gone, let's just review the best ways to get Amazon reviews in 2021. All right. So how do customers leave these one-click reviews? How can they write full reviews? Let's outline all the ways. All right. The first step, or the first method here, is don't do anything. Just wait for the buyer to leave a review on their own. And the effectiveness score here is 0 out of 5. Guys, all right? So this is not suggested to just do nothing, all right? Now think back. You who buy products on Amazon, when's the last time you, just on your own, decided to leave a positive review? All right? You went and you figured out how to find the link to leave a review on your app or something, and you're like, I'm going to leave a 5-star review for this product because I just really love it. I mean, I can't remember the last time I did that, right? And it's hard to kind of find how to leave the review sometimes. Now, if a customer is not prompted to leave a review, how do they do it? Well, they can just navigate to their list of orders and see a button titled Write a Product Review. Like here's a product that I ordered last month, some sinigang, tamarind base, right? And then you could see in my Amazon account, it told me, hey, write a product review. There's a button right there. All right. So nobody prompted me, but I found that on my own. Now, once you click that button, they're brought to a page where they can leave a rating or a review. Now, what's different in 2021 compared to early 2019 is that as soon as an Amazon buyer enters a star rating right here, they hit this, these stars were empty, and then they hit the 5 stars or the 4 stars or whatever, you can see it says submitted right here. All right. This is the 1-click or 1-tap review. All right. So it says submitted. Now below that, there's actually a list of star ratings for other features of the product. Now for this one, it gave me the choices of to rate the flavor, the thickness, and the warmth. Like, the warmth, I don't even know what that is. Like this is a soup base. Obviously, they're not shipping it to be warm, but hey, Amazon decided to query me about these little aspects of that review. All right. Now below that, I can add a picture or a video, and then at the bottom, I can also add a headline as a buyer, as well as a written review. All right. Now the feature ratings and written parts will be only submitted if I hit submit. So remember, I said at the beginning, if you hit the star, that's immediately added or submitted, that's your submission for the rating. But the only way that these other things get uploaded for review is if the buyer hits the submit button. So this product, I actually bought this product. This was like I said, a sinigang. Any Filipinos in the house today know what sinigang is? A soup base, and I actually bought the product. So what does that mean? When my review is accepted, there's going to be a little button or a little thing that says verified purchase on the actual review. Now, back in the old days, it seemed like there was tons of unverified reviews. But you guys tell me if you've seen this something similar. But when I looked at a lot of products out there, only 3 to 5% of reviews were not from verified purchases. I was able to determine this by using the Helium 10 tool review insights, and I downloaded a whole bunch of reviews, and then I looked at the ratio of verified to not verified reviews, and it was really interesting. Almost all these days seem to be verified. Like only 3 to 5% were not verified. All right. Is this the result of Amazon like cracking down on shady written reviews? It'd be interesting to find that out. All right. So that's method 1. Don't do anything. Effectiveness score 0. Don't do that, guys. Don't use option 1. What's the next thing that you could do? Well, you could still do nothing. All right. Option 2 is do nothing and wait for Amazon to solicit the review for you. Amazon actually says in a lot of places, hey, you don't need to ask the buyer for a review. You can if you want to, but even if you don't, we'll ask them. All right. Now, this effectiveness score is 1 out of 5. I gave it a 1 out of 5. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes Amazon is, oh, by the way, we got Sam here who says, so masarap. All right. That means it tastes good in Tagalog. All right. Cool. Camino says, will you be talking about best ways for vendors? All of this, the ways I'm going to be talking about, guys, it goes both ways. Absolutely. This review process is the same regardless of what kind of listing it is. All right, let's keep going here. So again, like I said, Amazon sometimes send in-app messages to leave a rating. Sometimes those who have an Alexa device will get a notification, like my little Alexa device here would start glowing yellow. And then I say, hey, what's the notification you have? And it says, hey, you just ordered this product a couple weeks ago. Would you like to rate it? And then it's ask you, how many stars would you like to give? And I'll say like 4 stars or 5 stars. So that's even different than a 1-click rating. That's a no-click rating. If Alexa just asks me, what to give the rating, that's a no-click rating. I don't even have to click anything on a computer or phone or anything. Other times, Amazon actually themselves sends a message to a customer asking for both seller feedback and a review. So here's how that works, all right? Amazon will send you as a buyer an email that has the title with your name and then the subject line, and then it says, will you rate your transaction on Amazon.com? All right? Will you rate your transaction? So this is how it shows up in your either email or in your Amazon app. This is how you know if this is an unsolicited or if this is a review that the seller did not instigate. And I'm going to talk about how I know this, like how I know there's a difference here, all right? Will you rate your transaction at Amazon.com? Now, here is how you can tell the difference of, or how I know that this was not from a seller. This was not somebody sending an email out. This was not doing the Amazon request review. No, all right? So this is the notification I got on a family member's account the other day, all right? Now, when you click into it, take a look at how this email looks, all right? Rate your experience with the seller on Fire Guy, all right? And so here is something to leave a review, right? You can see that right there. This is some like baseball card display things. This was a product that was ordered just a couple days ago, all right? So this is how I knew that this is the template for the email that does not come from the request a review feature that sellers can do. How do I know that? This product was ordered only 2 days ago. Remember, the request a review feature on Amazon can only be done minimum of 5 days after the product delivers. If this seller was trying to use the Amazon request a review feature, he would have gotten a message that looks like this. It is not eligible at this time because you can't use this feature to request a review outside the 5 to 30-day review. So that's, again, how you can kind of tell the difference and how I knew that this was one of just Amazon's sending a message out. So again, that is a method. You still don't have to do anything. And for some orders, Amazon will send it out. Now, I had ordered on this one Amazon account, like maybe 50 products over the last couple of months. And I only got this kind of message like maybe 5 times. All right. So Amazon is definitely not doing this for every single purchase. Okay. Now, one important thing, let me go back to this. This is important. And this is why this is not that great of a way to get reviews. All right. I know there's a delay here, but let me just try and involve the audience a little bit more. Is this a request for review? If I hit this button up here, is this a review? Is this going to leave me a review? Let me know. What do you guys think? I'm going to give you guys a few seconds because I know there's like a 30-second delay here. But there is something about this that makes me think that this is not going to result in many reviews. What do you guys think here? Let's see. Come on, guys. Hopefully, this StreamYard thing sometimes takes a while. Ah, very good. Colette has it. Colette says, no, it's seller feedback. Exactly. This is a link to the seller feedback. All right. You guys ever wonder, those who get, who are looking at your seller feedback, You ever wonder why there's sometimes people who leave product reviews there? Well, this is probably why. It's confusing. Like the average Amazon buyer might think, wait a minute, this is to leave a product review, right? But it's not. This is bringing people to the seller feedback. So this is why Amazon sellers sometimes get the product reviews in their seller feedback, is because of this email. Do you guys see where the link is to leave a review here? It's way at the bottom right down here. It's way at the bottom, and it's not even a button. It's these tiny words of rate your product. So if I were to leave a review, like I would have had to have been smart enough as a buyer to find this down here and then do it down there. All right. So this is, again, one of the reasons why this method doesn't work that great. So number 3, what's the third method? All right. It's click the Amazon request a review button every order. Again, this has, so far we've talked about nothing that has anything to do with Helium 10. That's fine. All right. So this is so far the best one that we've talked about, though. All right. This is the best one. The other 2 methods, the seller is not doing anything and it's not going to be very effective. This one will get you some reviews. Clicking the Amazon request a review button. All right. So here, this has been in place since I think the end of 2019. And on every order that you see in your seller dashboard in Seller Central, you have the ability to hit a button, all right, that Amazon is going to send out a review request via email to your customer. You can see that right here. This is in an order. What in the world? This person had ordered 25 items from me? That's interesting. Anyways, I can hit the request a review. All right, now, how do these emails look like to the buyer? So I showed you how the email looks like to the buyer of when somebody requests a review, or when Amazon requests a review, right? So in the app or in the email, this is how it looks. All right. You get this message that says, did your recent Amazon order meet your expectations? Review it on Amazon. So if you ever see this as a buyer, all right, this is an email that is generated by the request a review. Now, unlike the Amazon self-generated message that I showed you guys above, this email actually highlights the product review first instead of the seller feedback, but it still has links to both. So this is better than that other email that Amazon sends out, because right here at the top, I could leave the review right here. I can click this and leave the review. It still allows me to ask for the seller feedback right down here. Rate your experience with Patio Paradise. That's a cool company name right there. Patio Paradise right here. So I could leave it right here. Now notice that you can unsubscribe from this still. So even this one, a buyer can unsubscribe from. I know that's a question out there, like, hey, can people unsubscribe from these, or are they only unsubscribing from the messages that Amazon sellers write at emails? All right. Now, if you select this starred area right here, if I click one of these stars, again, that is a one-click or one-tap review. It immediately, as soon as I click this part, it takes me to a page and immediately says that the 5 stars was submitted, right? So I click that, boom, goes the dynamite. I have a 5-star review and it says submitted. So this is a great way for Amazon sellers out there. They don't want to contact their customers at all to get reviews, or they want to, but they just want an easy way to start this process where they don't want to have to write an email to every single customer saying, hey, would you leave me a review one by one? You just navigate to your Seller Central page and you just hit this button one by one, to all orders. Absolutely. Any Amazon seller almost can have that right now who has a Seller Central account. I saw there was somebody who had a Vendor Central. I don't think you guys have access to that. I'd be curious to see if you did, but you might. But it just takes, like I said, you can't do this to all of your orders. It's only the ones that have been delivered within 5 and 30 days ago. All right, within 5 and 30 days ago. However, the drawback, what are the drawbacks here? Number 1 is the subject line and the copy are not really eye-catching. Remember what the subject line was? Did your order meet your expectations? I mean, if I got that, I'm not going to click on that email. I'm going to delete that email, or I'm going to send that to junk mail. All right, it's not exactly clickbait to get somebody to open up the email. And in addition, this method didn't get that high a score. I think I gave it a 2 out of 5 because you've got to click this button on every single order. All right. So the next step is a Chrome extension, a completely free Chrome extension, the Helium 10 Seller Assistant Chrome extension. You can bulk request reviews. All right. I give this still, though, a 3 out of 5. It's only that's like a D- still. All right. 3 out of 5 on the effectiveness scale. All right. So if you like to use that request a review button, but you don't want to have to take the time every day to click one by one, you can just go to the Chrome store and then type in Helium 10 Seller Assistant Chrome extension. All right. And install it completely free. Right. It's a 100% free tool, and it allows you to bulk hit that button up to 100 orders at a time. So I'm on my list of orders in Amazon Seller Central. And now, because I have that Chrome extension installed, I can just say, hey, request reviews, all of them on this page. All right. This can obviously save you a lot of time. And plus, who doesn't like something that's free, right? So you might be wondering, well, Bradley, why did you give it a D-? Why does it only get a 3 out of 5? Now, don't get me wrong. This is still better than any other any other thing that we've talked about. But the reason why I gave it only a 3 out of 5 is because it's still kind of like a manual process. All right. You still have to physically go to these order pages, and you got to hit that or the order summary pages and hit that button. There's not an automation here, like if you're looking for a set it and forget it kind of functionality. And the other thing is, you can't really filter out people who get who get this request. It's just basically everybody on that page is going to get it if you hit that button. The other thing is, you can't automatically select the timing of it. Like say, hey, I only want this to go out like 7 days after it delivers or something like that. All right. But hey, if you're cool with this and you've been doing number 1 or number 2 or number 3 until now, these options, which is bad, this is a step up, and you're going to get more reviews this way, and it's not going to take you much time. So like I said, if you want to do that one, just go to the Chrome store, Google Chrome store, and download the Helium 10 Seller Assistant. The next method, all right, using the Helium 10 follow-up tool to set up an automated request a review trigger. All right, now this gets a B. All right, 4 out of 5 on the effectiveness score. So if you're dead set on using the Amazon request a review feature, which is, some people like to do that because they're very scared about getting suspended from sending messages, because sometimes Amazon can be ambiguous with the rules of what could get you banned from sending messages. So like, hey, I don't want to ever have to worry about being against terms of service. And so I want to use the request a review feature. Well, you can actually do that through Helium 10. A lot of people don't realize that. But through follow-up, we are actually giving you the automation to trigger that Amazon request a review button without even you having to go into Seller Central. You literally do it within Helium 10 follow-up, right? So I personally, choose for most of my products, I personally choose to use custom emails. I don't use this that much. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes. But with this, you can set up automated flows to specify exactly who you want to get the review request and when. For example, you could build a flow that says, hey, send this request review to orders that have not been given refunds, that have a specific ASIN in the order. That's what's happening right here. A specific ASIN, just picked a random ASIN there. And then I said, hey, that have a discount of less than 10%. And it's somebody who has bought from me only the first or second time this order. And I want you to wait for 9 days after it's delivered and then request a review. Like, that's literally what I did right there. Like, imagine if you had to do that on your own, clicking that button every day. That would take forever. But this took me like maybe 2 minutes to set up. What happened here? Why do we go on this screen? All right, we were already on the next screen. That took me 2 minutes to set up, and I'm never going to have to go back to it. It's done. Like, that is set it and forget it. All right. If you have 10,000 orders that match that criteria, Helium 10 is going to send out 10,000 of those review requests to your customers without you having to lift another finger. So maybe you're wondering, well, why this just sounds like the cream of the crop. Why in the world would it not get a 5 out of 5? Like I said, it's not a bad idea at all. It's still the best one that we've talked about today. But for me, remember how the screenshots I showed, how the email shows up to customers. All right. I forgot what it said. It was something like, did you like or did your order meet your expectations? Again, not many people are going to click on that because it just seems like spam. Right. But so for me, the method that I use the most is using Helium 10 follow-up to set up a customized email template with automated delivery. And for me, this gets a perfect score. All right. whenever I use this method, instead of using Amazon's request a review, I always get the most reviews. All right. Because with this technique, I can still have all of those automations that we showed you before, right? But the big difference is that I can write my own subject line and email copy. Now, in the past, I showed you guys how I did a case study. I did a podcast about it and a blog about this hemp cream that I did, right? Now, in that case study, there was two products, two kinds of hemp cream. One was a hemp roll-on cream, and one was a regular hemp cream. And for 4 months, I ran tests where with one product, I sent the automated Amazon review request just using Helium 10, like I showed you. And the other product, I sent the custom email that was set up by that I set up through Helium 10. And the results were the roll-on cream had the Amazon request a review button. All right. I sold 778 units, or not me, but the person who has that account sold 778 units, and they got 74 reviews. That's a very, very respectable review to sales ratio of 9.4%. Very good. It obviously, if they did nothing, they probably wouldn't have gotten no 9%. It'd probably been about 5%. So again, request a review definitely works. For the other product, 400 products sold, 47 reviews. The review to sales ratio was 11.6%. It got me some more reviews doing it that way. Another product, a couple different Project 5K products that I did. One of them, these two products were identical, except one was one color and one was another color. To the one product that I used the automated review request, and the other product I used the custom email. Product one, Amazon request review, sold 393 units. I got 60 reviews, a great review to sales ratio of 15.2%. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? So again, the request a review absolutely works. However, product two, I do the customized email flow. 187 units sold, 37 reviews. The review to sales ratio on that was 19.7%. So again, why are these custom emails, in my case, this is not the case for everybody, but in my case, why are they performing better? Personally, I think one of the reasons is because I try and have like a catchy subject line. Instead of just, did your order meet your expectations, I would have subject lines like, what did you put in your coffin shelf? Or, orange, you glad you bought these straws? Da-hunch. All right. So this is corny or it's stupid, you might think, right? But that's what I'm going for. I want somebody who's looking in their phone to their email subject line and go, what is this? Like, I did buy a coffin shelf. I bought some straws. What does this mean? Orange, you glad? What is this idiot doing? All right. But you see, it makes them stop the scroll, right? And so in my opinion, it makes them more likely to open up the emails, right? And then if they open up the email, that's half the battle. Now, at least they can see if they can, they'll have the link to leave a review. Now, an important thing to remember when you make your own custom emails is that Amazon is super picky, right? They have very strict guidelines as far as what you can and can't say in those emails. You cannot come across in any way, shape, or form as trying to solicit a positive review. Even something like, we hope you loved our product. We humbly ask for your honest review on it. That might seem like, hey, I'm just asking for an unbiased review. That could be marked as a violation because just for that little part where you said you hope they love the product. So you have to be really careful if you're going to do this, that you really understand the Amazon terms of service as far as not giving any kind of messaging that makes it seem like you only want them to leave a positive review or only if they had a good experience. So my advice to you is if you have any doubts, if your messaging is in line with Amazon terms of service, you could do one or two things. Number one, just stick to the Amazon request a review automation. You're never going to get no slap on the wrist just by doing that. And I know a lot of sellers do that. I do that on some of my products. Or number two, if you have any doubts about your template, go ahead and open up a case with Amazon. Just say, hey, Amazon, I would like to send this kind of message out to my customers to see if they would like to, leave a review. Is this okay? And at least get them to say yes. That's not going to guarantee that you're never going to get suspended, but at least now you have a case ID and everything so that if you do get the slap on the wrist, you can say, Amazon, take a look here at this case ID. This is the only message that I send out. You guys said it was okay. All right. What gives? All right. So that you have a paper trail for that. All right. Contrary to what a lot of sellers believe, guys, Amazon is absolutely fine with sellers requesting reviews from customers. All right. It's stated in multiple places in Seller Central. All right. Amazon even developed the integration of Seller Central tools such as Helium 10 in a way that allows us to provide a service like follow-up. So, I mean, if they didn't want that to be the case, you wouldn't even have that integration. So there is nothing wrong with emailing customers or asking for a review as long as you just do it once. And there's a lot of other, guidelines that you guys have to keep in mind as well. Another method has nothing to do with Helium 10, the Amazon Vine program. All right. We wrote a detailed article about this, so I'm not going to go too much into detail about what this is, but it's a program where Amazon kind of like provides free products in exchange for a review on your product. And unlike the early reviewer program, you can get a lot more than 5 reviews. You can even get up to like 30 reviews under this program. And then it shows up Vine customer review of free product. And it says like Vine, or actually this person is part of the Vine Voice program. So this is another way to get reviews out there is the Vine program. We actually wrote a whole blog on that. So if you guys want to check that, go to helium10.com/blog and then type in Amazon Vine reviews and then read the whole article. I forgot who wrote that here on our staff. It might have been Brian or Kai, but really good article about the ins and outs of Vine reviews. Now, guys, there's a lot of strategies out there. Let me just take this off. There's a lot of strategies out there that people use reviews that's even outside of this. All right. These are kind of like the ways that specifically have to do with using something that Amazon provides. We did a cool podcast with Carlos Alvarez a couple years ago, how he had a unique idea of getting reviews by using websites like Yelp. And I think it's called Foursquare, or not Foursquare. Foursquare is a game. What's that? Something Square. Is another way to get reviews. There are different things, people, talk about doing it in insert cards that, some people are kind of worried about, or that's kind of dangerous as well. But there's people who have great ways to get reviews. So this is not meant to be the only ways to get reviews, but these are like the top 7 ways through the Amazon ecosystem without having to do anything special that you can get reviews. And I hope every single person who's watching this uses at least one of these methods for all of their review getting. So let me go ahead and just open it up to some questions here. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any meeting here. No, my next meeting's at 1:00, so I'm good. All right. So let me see if I've missed any questions here. Oh my goodness. What are we at here? Yeah, Colette said, no, this is seller feedback. That was for a while back. And Camino says the seller would be rated. Yes. So if you hit that one rating that we showed, that goes to the seller feedback. The seller feedback. All right. Pavel thinks he's going to get Helium 10 for free if he gives me if he tries to brown nose me here. Thank you, Pavel, but I can't give away Helium 10 for free. I'm sorry. Look at this. Kyle says, most of my seller feedback reviews are all about the product. Well, now you know, Kyle, why that's happening is because the way that Amazon requests these sometimes is a little bit confusing. But Pavel says, yes, you can get the negative seller feedback that is about the product removed very easily. Yes. If it is a product review, I keep them on there if they're positive, right? But if there is a negative seller feedback you get, that's a very good point. If there's a negative seller feedback you get, and don't forget, guys, use Helium 10 alerts so that we can inform you as soon as you get a negative seller feedback. If it happens to be a negative product review, guess what? You can get that easily removed if it, regardless if it's fulfilled by merchant or if it's fulfilled by Amazon, because you're not supposed to leave product reviews there. So you can just request Amazon to remove that seller feedback. Kyle says, I wish that the 5-star review could be moved to the product listing. Yes, a lot of us do. Camino says, a lot of these best practices are unfortunately only available for sellers. So yeah, when you have Vendor Central, a lot of these were actually originally only for vendors, like the Vine. Vine is definitely one that vendors have access to. And it's only recently that sellers have access to. But if you've got an account rep on Vendor Central, definitely ask them, like, how can you set it up where you can actually request the reviews programmatically. All right. And if you have a interface for the orders, you might be able to use the Chrome extension. We'll have to look into that. But for vendors, the best ways is probably via product inserts, or you're just gonna have to rely on numbers 1 and 2, which have to do with Amazon requesting those reviews. Yanni says it's not available. The Chrome extension, yeah, you can't really use Chrome extensions with iPad versions of Chrome. Extension works on the phone too. I mean, the Helium 10. I mean, we have our own Helium 10 app in the App Store, so it's not an extension, but we do have a Helium 10 app that you can use. Doesn't Amazon automatically ask for a review? Not every time. No. Like I said, in the orders that I got, I only got that automated Amazon request review for probably less than 5% of my orders. And you cannot ask more than once for review. But if Amazon already did and you do it on your own, that's fine, because you have no idea that Amazon left or asked for a review. So it's impossible for you to know. So you're never going to get into trouble for asking twice if it was on an order that Amazon already asked for it once, because you have no idea to know if Amazon did or not. What kind of type of content are you allowed to add in the follow-up tool? It basically has to just be a request for review or seller feedback, or something that is important and pertinent to the completion of that order. Like, for example, like maybe you have to have a instruction guide to be able to use the product. You can deliver that through follow-up, the last time I checked. Brian says you can only ask for a review once. Absolutely. 100%. Sam says, from where did you get Pinoy food? That was just from Amazon. People are selling that stuff on Amazon. Please explain about request review button, because it's written over that if we use that button, it will lead to suspension. No, nowhere is it in Amazon. I mean, Amazon is never going to give you a suspension for something that they're providing for you. I mean, so that is 1,000,000,000% no problem at all to use that button. Now, where you could get in trouble is if you're trying to, on the same product, like I said, hey, use different methods of asking for a review, but not on the same product. Like me, on some of my products, I use the request a review. On some products, most of them, I write the custom emails. You cannot use both of those on one product, because that's asking twice for a review. All right, we're keeping it to any questions about reviews and contacting customers here, guys. Let's see here. Zabib says, what is the best way to ask for a review out of all those many options? Well, like I said, it's those last two. The Vine is really good because you can get a lot of good written reviews that way. Remember how I said important written reviews are, and they're very scarce to get. So absolutely, Vine is a great way if you have the, I think you have to have brand registry for that. And then setting up a Helium 10 follow-up automation for the email, or the Helium 10 automated request review. Either of those methods, I think, are great, because now you can kind of like segregate who gets that email and when, which you can't really do manually, or it's not very feasible to do manually. Is it okay to ask to make a video review? And if yes, can I suggest coupon for this? No, you can ask for a video review. Just say, hey, it would be, if you are able to give a picture review or video review, please go ahead and do so. If you're not sure about that, ask Amazon. Say, hey, Amazon, is it okay for me to ask people for a video review? But one thing that you don't even have to ask Amazon, I'll tell you right now, is 1,000,000,000% no, is you cannot offer a coupon for any kind of review at all, any discount at all. That's a guaranteed. You're going to get a lock on your ability to do reviews if you try and do that. OM says, if we can't request a review button twice, what about if the customer didn't give a review? Yeah, you can't like follow up with them. You can only send that email once, and whether they read it or they don't read it, whether they act on it or don't act on it, no, you cannot ask for the same order twice. You can ask the same customer. They order it once in January, ask them to leave a review. They order again in April. You can do that, but just not in the same order. Brian says, do you find different methods work differently for different countries? I haven't tested that enough. No, I haven't tested it enough to be able to say that it's the same or to say that it's different. Samira says, is the one-click review automatically enabled? I just started selling. I have sold about 500 units, but only have gotten 14 reviews, including early reviewer program. Well, if you just started, I mean, how long have you been selling? You know, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for people to start leaving reviews. If you've only been selling for like 3 weeks, you know, you might get some later. But if you're not doing any kind of follow-up, Samir, 14 reviews out of 500 sounds about right. That sounds about right if you're not doing anything. But if you're following up and doing a request a review or sending an email to all those 500, yes, it should be probably more. I would expect more reviews than that. And Morosi says, our systems already do that on your behalf. Yeah, so that's what I said, but they don't do it. That's the thing. They don't do that on all orders. And they're technically not lying here. It doesn't say that they do it for all orders, but they only do it for about 5 or 10% max of the orders. Let's see. Clint says, once a buyer leaves a product review, how long does it usually take for it to be posted? In my experience lately, or like 2 months ago, about 24 to 48 hours. 24 to 48 hours for it to show up. If you are doing search, find, buy for launching, can you still ask for reviews, or would that get flagged? I would never, under any circumstance, if I'm doing Facebook ads, if I am doing ManyChat, if I am doing search, find, buy, like using AZ Rank or something like that. This is just my personal preference. I'm not trying to say this is in Amazon terms of service. I personally, I don't want any reviews from those orders. I don't. I even tell those companies, please don't have your users leave me a review, because I don't want any ambiguity on Amazon side. If they somehow got into some flow or somehow they were looking at it, from Amazon's viewpoint, you're giving a rebate or a discount. It just seems like to them, Amazon, that you're trying to incentivize a review, even though that is absolutely not what you're trying to do. That's how it could look to Amazon. So that, again, that's just me personally. I'm not trying to say, hey, everybody needs to follow what I'm saying here. Me personally, I don't want reviews from those kind of people. No. What are opinions on the inserts? Yeah, you got to be careful. If you're doing inserts to ask for a review, you just as if you got to be careful with how you word it in a message, you got to be careful there that it doesn't seem like you're asking for a positive review or that you're incentivizing it in any way. If you have a 15% off coupon, could the effect for request review through Amazon or Helium 10 follow? That is a great question, but I believe the answer is no. The discount is on promotions only, and the coupons, if I'm not mistaken, come out as differently than promotions. But that is an excellent question that I would need to ask our product manager, Alex, about. I don't do coupon codes barely on any of my accounts. So I've never tested that feature. Great question, though. What is the percentage or sales review? Mick, make sure to go rewind this to the beginning, and I went into detail about what's happening with the ratio from sales to reviews. Says, if I had one last product for sale in the buy box and request a review to that customer, where will the review go? If I had one last product for sale in the buy box. Well, you need to like clarify that, because I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. What you said though reminds me of something else though, is you can have multiple products in one order. Like let's say somebody bought 3 products from you. The review request goes to the first product on the order. They don't get the review request 3 times. All right, only the first one. All right, guys. I hope I was able to give you guys some insight. Did anybody learn anything? Did you guys know how emails look like in the different ways, like how the customer got the emails? Did you guys, or is that news to you? So I hope you guys were able to gain some information from that, to see how emails look from the buyer's viewpoint and why some things work better than others. And the bottom line is, just because early reviewer program went away, it's not the end of the world. You know, that still only got you 5 reviews. That was valuable and it was good, and I always recommended everybody to do it. But your Amazon business is not going to go down just because there's no early reviewer program. You just got to step up your methods in the other way. So make sure, guys, you're using Helium 10 follow-up to either write a custom email or to do the Amazon request a review. And in that way, you're going to increase your review velocity, which is what you want to do. You don't want to go crazy and get like 75% reviews. You probably get your account or your product shut down because it'll seem like you're doing something shady. But as I showed, getting like 15% review velocity nowadays with one-click reviews is absolutely possible. If anybody is not using Helium 10 follow-up and you didn't even know that we have the function to do the request review in there, just go to helium10.com, sign up for a new membership and start using it today. You get like 50,000 free messages, I think, something like that right off the bat. But every month you get thousands of messages you're able to send to use the review request. So absolutely take advantage of that, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys later.